Hello, 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 and welcome to Starting the Day the Right Way 5-minute devotion for April 10th, 2021. All right, hope everyone's having a good weekend. I've been on spring break, so mine has been doing a bunch of different things, and we got family in for the weekend, so it's been a great week. And by the time it happens, my little guy, I can see as vacation starts to close down, he gets a little melancholy. And, with 3 days left, 2 days left, finally on one day, he'll get really, really sad. And I'm like, hey, little guy, you know what? I said, it's only 10 more weeks until summer. He's like, that's too long. How many days off do we have? I'm like, we don't have a lot in the next 10 weeks. But it led me to these verses here. And I think it's important because we all go through these points in time in our lives where, maybe we book a vacation or we're just looking to break out of a terrible season and we just want it to be over, right? So here's where God led me tonight. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 comes from the Message, verses 1 through 8. Now, this is Solomon, the wisest man that God created. Remember the guy who said, all right, split that baby in half and split it amongst the women. And the true mother said, no, let that other woman have it. And then Solomon knew that that was the true mother. That was true wisdom. That was early on. When he's writing the book of Ecclesiastes, it's much later in his life where he's made some not so smart decisions, right? He ends up marrying and having concubines up to about 1,000 different women. Most versions will say about 700 wives and 300 concubines, and they were for strategical political alliances, more or less. And so at that point in time, he was just really looking back at his life, where he went wrong, and how could he be so wise in the beginning and then end up where he is. So here's what he was thinking. He said, there's an opportune time to do things, a right time for everything on earth, a right time for birth, another for death, a right time to plant, another to reap, a right time to kill, and another to heal, a right time to destroy, and another to construct, a right time to cry, another time to laugh, a right time to lament, and another to cheer, a right time to make love, and another to abstain, a right time to embrace, and another to part, a right time to search, and another to count your losses, a right time to hold on, and another to let go, a right time to rip out, and another to mend, a right time to shut up, and another to speak up, a right time to love, and another to hate, a right time to wage war, and another to make peace. Okay, now these were his words. Okay, these were his comparisons that he was going through at this point in his life. And he was just, like I said, he was just going back through his life and trying, to see he had it all. He was king and God gave him much wisdom at the beginning. But then, like I said, he got to this point in time where he just started making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And God specifically told him at the beginning of his reign, if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. And at this point in time, he was doing that, right? He was doing the thing that God was telling him not to do, okay? So this is where he's at. And there's a time for everything. This is what I was trying to tell my little guy. I'm like, listen, we've had 9 days. We got one more day tomorrow. Even though a lot of the day will be at church, but it's still, spring break. And so I'm like, listen, we got one more day left. All right. So let's make the most of it. And there's always going to be another vacation for you to, enjoy. I said, you got summer break in 10 weeks. And he's like, all right, all right. He's like, well, what are we going to do for summer? I'm like, I don't know. Me and mommy have to talk about that. So, but it's just interesting because no matter what season we find ourselves in, we always want to go to the next season, right? If we're in that season of pain and suffering, we definitely want to get out of that season, right? And we're like, God, when? Or if we're in the season of healing, we want that healing to come. We want the body to mend and do what it's supposed to do as quickly as possible. But sometimes the body's just saying, listen, a little bit more time, right? And then, of course, there are times where we're in a good season, right? And we don't really want to leave those seasons. And we almost want those seasons to kind of last forever because it's so good, right? But, if I came from the Northeast and we had four different distinct seasons. You knew when it was winter, you knew when it was summer, spring, and fall. And you knew season after season. As I've moved south, there seems like there's 3 seasons now, right? And my guess would be the closer you move to the equator, there might be 2 seasons, right? But anyway, there's that season for everything. But no matter what season you're in, understand that God is right next to you. He is walking with you right through that season. It doesn't matter if it's a great season or if it's the worst season of your life. God is right there and he's not going to let you go. So I think that's the most important thing that we need to understand about the particular season of life that we're in. All right, guys, dig into these verses. I hope this was a blessing. We'll be back at you. God bless.